What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Collective MMA channel. I'm here with another episode of 5 MMA bets in just 10 minutes. And today we're going to be covering UFC Belgrade. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it. With our first bet, we have Robert Valentin on the money line at -150. I like this one here. He's going up against Dusko Todorovic. And, Valentin definitely didn't have the best start to his UFC career. However, again, he also had a lot of tough matchups. And I mean, Todorovic, he's been knocked out by Punahele Soriano, Chidi Njokuani, Mansour Abdul Malik, to name a few. And I think this fight, every fight starts on the feet. And I think this fight's going to play out on the feet for a good portion of it. And Valentin is a bit more like dynamic striker. He's got more power. And if anybody's finishing this fight, I think it's going to be him. So at -150, I think it's a solid money line bet. So we'll keep on running. With our next bet, we have a 2-leg parlay, Jovan Leka and Alexander Rakic. We'll start off with Leka. He's making his UFC debut here. He was on the Contender Series and did win, but he wasn't awarded a contract just because, typically Dana wants to see you get a finish. He wants to see a highlight reel, knockout, that sort of thing. And, his opponent he was fighting was more of a grapple heavy guy. And it led to a lot of, grappling, cage push, that kind of stuff. And it wasn't the most entertaining fight. But in this one, yeah, you got Popik coming in, his opponent, who is he's been fighting at light heavyweight, also fought at the Contender Series a while ago and got knocked out by Jamal Hill. But I just think there's going to be a massive size difference in this one. Leka's going to be able to pin him up against the cage, throw some knees, throw some elbows, look for takedowns of his own. And, when Leka does get his opponents down to the mat, he has very good ground and pound. He has a good arm triangle and is looking to finish the fight, which I really like. And I think, once he gets Popik down to the mat, I don't think Popik's going to be able to get up. And I don't know if he's going to last too much longer once he's on his back. So, that's for Leka. And then for Rakic. So this is a guy that typically I have been betting against, and it has paid dividends betting against him. However, now he's moving up to heavyweight. So that's obviously his debut here. He's going up against Marcin Tybura. And there's a lot of things to like about Rakic. He's a good striker. He's a rangy striker. He's got good leg kicks, throw some high kicks. He's fast. There are a lot of things to like. And I think, it's good that he's moving up here. Honestly, I think, it was just things weren't working out and he had lost to a bunch of the guys at the top of the rankings and he wouldn't have got a title shot at light heavyweight anytime soon. So I like this move for him here. And yeah, Tybura, I mean, he's closer to the end of his career. He's almost 41. In his second last fight, he got knocked out by Ante Deliha. And then after that, he lost to Tyrell Fortune in a decision. And yeah, he's just, closer to the end than the beginning here. He's, a bit more of a plotter. He'll throw a jab. But yeah, I just think, Rakic is going to outstrike him, outpoint him. And yeah, again, Rakic, he's on a 4-fight skid, which again isn't great. But I believe if he wasn't on a 4-fight skid, he'd likely be a way bigger favorite in this one. And yeah, just overall, I think because he's on that skid, he's going to end up coming out here fighting smart, fighting technical. He could end up getting a knockout. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities by any means. But I do think he's going to come in here and understand that he's on a 4-fight losing streak and know that he needs to get this one done any way he can. So whether that's, fighting smart on the outside, landing leg kicks, landing jabs, high kicks, and, winning a decision, I think he's going to be okay with that. Obviously, if the knockout comes, I'm sure that he would probably want that, but I don't think he's going to come out and take too many unnecessary chances. And that's typically not what he does. So yeah, I like Rakic in this one. These two together at -111. I like that a lot. So that's our second bet. We'll keep on moving. We got Uros Medic by round 1 KO at +125. This is in the main event on our UFC show, Fight IQ. We talked about setup spots. This is the ultimate setup spot. You have, D-Rod, who's almost 40. He was just in Mexican prison eating ramen and that kind of stuff. So yeah, overall, I just think, Medic is going to come out here and, D-Rod's pretty much a lamb in this spot. Yeah, they're trying to build Medic. This is pretty much the easiest rankings fight they could have given him. They're building this event around him. He's the main event, etc. So all signs point towards Medic getting a first round knockout. So yeah, I like this one a lot as well. We'll keep on moving. In the first fight of the night, we got Stephanie Luciano by decision here. Yeah, like watching tape on her, there are some things to like, and also on her opponent on Spasic, there's some things to like about her as well. But yeah, overall, I just think Luciano is just going to be the better, more well-rounded fighter here. Yeah, she's comfortable on the feet and also comfortable in the grappling. She's pretty good in the clinch as well. Got some pretty good takedown defense. Not that Spasic is going to shoot. Again, I think this is primarily going to be a striking fight unless Luciano wants to take the fight to the mat. And yeah, she's got some decent takedowns if she wants to. I think she can get it there. But yeah, Spasic is pretty game. I don't think she's like a quitter by any means. She's going to come out here in front of her home crowd, look to put on a good fight. And Luciano, yeah, in 4 out of her 7 wins have gone to decision. And in Spasic's lone defeat, she also lost by decision. So, yeah, I think both these fighters are pretty tough and not going to quit. And, yeah, Luciano in her fight against Sam Hughes, she ended up in a couple bad spots, and she showed a lot of heart and was able to fight out of those spots and come out of there and end up winning a decision. So, yeah, all signs in this one point towards it going all 3 rounds. So at minus 106 for Luciano to win a decision, I think there's some pretty good value there. So we'll keep on moving. With our 5th bet, we have another 2-leg parlay with Bogdan Grad and Michael Oliveira. We'll start off with Grad. Yeah, he's gonna be the more well-rounded fighter in this one. He's got some dynamic attacks. He likes to throw that spinning heel kick, and he's got some grappling upside in this one as well. He's also a pretty smart fighter. And, in one of his most recent fight, he got knocked out by Luke Riley. He's actually went and he's been training with him now. Seems to be dedicated to his career, looking to improve, that kind of thing, which I like. And he's fighting Dennis Bazukia, who recently in his last fight got starched in the first round. I was actually there live at that fight, and I had bet Barbosa to win in round 1 by KO. So that was a nice cash. But yeah, I just think, Bazukia, like, he's all right, but I guess he recently opened up his own gym, and he used to be training with Aljo and some top level guys, and that just isn't really the case for him anymore. And yeah, so it's like you got Grad, who's wanting to go train with higher level guys, and then you got Bazukia, who's going away from training with higher level guys, and I just don't like that. And yeah, I think, while it's striking, I think it can be somewhat competitive, but I just think Grad's going to have more tools here, and I just trust him more in a lot of aspects in the striking. And then, yeah, again, he can also take this fight down to the mat, land some ground and pound, win some minutes with control. So, yeah, I think Grad likely gets this one done either by decision or by knockout. And then talking about Michael Oliveira, I'm a big fan of this guy. Watching him on the Contender Series, the performance he put on was an absolute beauty to watch. He's got, very calculated pressure, very athletic, very strong. There's a lot of things to like about him. Yeah, he's going to be more physical in this one. Clean striking. He's got a killer instinct. I think at some point he's going to hurt Elliott here, and he's going to find a way to put him out. If Elliott's smart, I think he's probably going to look to grapple here. Not that he's the greatest grappler by any means, but I just think Oliveira is going to be too big and too strong, stop the takedowns, and end up, keeping Elliott on the feet with him. And at some point, I think he's going to land that killer shot and he's going to put him out. So at plus 103, I think there's a lot of value on this one. So this is one that I think I'm definitely going to be playing this weekend. So that is our 5 bets. We will do a quick recap. First off, we got Valentin on the money line at minus 150. Second fight, we got Leka in Rakic and 2-leg parlay at minus 111. Third bet, we got Medic by round 1 KO as a prop, plus 125. Fourth bet, we have Luciano by decision at minus 106. And fifth bet, we have Bogdan Grad and Michael Oliveira in a 2-leg parlay at plus 103. And remember, guys, UFC Belgrade is, because of the time difference, is starting early in the morning for people in North America. So definitely be sure to get these bets in before they start. Try to get them in tonight in case you sleep in on Saturday. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know in the comments if you guys enjoyed this style of video, and I'll be happy to keep them coming. So yeah, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and good luck to all you guys this weekend.